Question 1. A commercial business owner, Sarah, has purchased a commercial property insurance policy that includes business income and extra expense coverage. A fire breaks out in her business, causing significant damage. While her business is being repaired, she is unable to operate but still incurs extra expenses to maintain certain operations. Which of the following is true regarding Sarah's coverage? A. The policy will cover the lost income due to business interruption, but not the extra expenses incurred during the repair process. B. The policy will cover both lost income and the extra expenses as long as the interruption is due to a covered cause of loss. C. The policy will cover the lost income, but only if the business premises were completely destroyed. D. The policy will cover only extra expenses if the repair process exceeds 12 weeks. Answer. B. The policy will cover both lost income and the extra expenses as long as the interruption is due to a covered cause of loss. Explanation. In commercial property insurance, business income and extra expense coverage are designed to compensate for both loss of income and the additional expenses incurred to continue business operations during a covered peril like a fire. The loss must be due to a covered cause of loss, and as long as that criterion is met, both income loss and extra expenses will be covered. Option A is incorrect because extra expenses are also covered, not just lost income. Option C is incorrect because it is not necessary for the premises to be completely destroyed to trigger coverage. Option D is incorrect because the length of time does not restrict the coverage of extra expenses. Question 2. Which of the following is a key characteristic of an occurrence policy under commercial general liability (CGL) insurance? A. Coverage is triggered only when a claim is filed during the policy period. B. Coverage is provided for incidents that occur during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is made. C. Coverage is limited to incidents that occur within the first 30 days of the policy. D. Coverage is provided for claims arising from incidents that occurred in the previous policy period. Answer. B. Coverage is provided for incidents that occur during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is made. Explanation. An occurrence policy under CGL insurance provides coverage for bodily injury or property damage that happens during the policy period, irrespective of when the claim is actually filed. This means the incident can occur within the policy period even if the claim is made after the policy expires. Option is incorrect because it describes a claims-made policy, not an occurrence policy. Option C is incorrect because there is no specific time limit of 30 days for an occurrence policy. Option D is incorrect because an occurrence policy covers claims based on when the incident occurred, not when the claim is made, regardless of whether the event took place in the previous policy period. Question 3, scenario-based. Mr. Thompson owns a fleet of delivery trucks under business auto policy BAP. One of his drivers, while using a non-owned vehicle for a work-related errand, causes an accident leading to significant property damage. Mr. Thompson's business auto policy does not cover non-owned vehicles by default. What action should Mr. Thompson take to ensure coverage for this situation? A. Mr. Thompson should file a claim with his personal auto insurance as the accident occurred in a non-owned vehicle. B. Mr. Thompson should have added an endorsement for non-owned vehicles under his BAP to ensure coverage for this type of situation. C. Mr. Thompson should have a separate liability policy for each non-owned vehicle his employees use. D. Mr. Thompson should only be concerned if the damage exceeds $10,000, as that's the threshold for non-owned auto coverage. Answer. B. Mr. Thompson should have added an endorsement for non-owned vehicles under his BAP to ensure coverage for this type of situation. Explanation. A standard business auto policy BAP does not automatically provide coverage for non-owned vehicles used by employees for business purposes. To ensure coverage, Mr. Thompson should have added an endorsement for non-owned autos, which would extend liability coverage to vehicles not owned by the business but used for work-related activities. Option is incorrect because personal auto insurance typically does not cover work-related accidents involving non-owned vehicles under a business policy. Option C is incorrect because a separate policy for each non-owned vehicle is unnecessary. The endorsement added to the BAP would be sufficient. Option D is incorrect because coverage for non-owned vehicles is not limited by a monetary threshold. It is based on the endorsement added to the BAP. Question 4. Which of the following is a primary difference between an occurrence and claims-made policies in commercial general liability (CGL) insurance? A. An occurrence policy only covers claims filed during the policy period, whereas a claims-made policy covers claims arising from incidents that occur after the policy period ends. B. An occurrence policy covers incidents that happen during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is filed, while a claims-made policy only covers claims filed during the policy period. C. A claims-made policy provides broader coverage than an occurrence policy for bodily injury, property damage, and advertising injury. D. An occurrence policy requires additional endorsements to provide coverage for product liability claims, but a claims-made policy does not. Answer: B. An occurrence policy covers incidents that happen during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is filed, while a claims-made policy only covers claims filed during the policy period. Explanation: the key difference between an occurrence and a claims-made policy is the timing of when the claim is filed. An occurrence policy covers incidents that happen during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is filed. In contrast, a claims-made policy only provides coverage if the claim is filed during the policy period, regardless of when the incident occurred. Option A is incorrect because it confuses the trigger of coverage with the occurrence policy's provisions. Option C is incorrect because a claims-made policy is typically more restrictive in coverage than an occurrence policy, as it depends on the timing of the claim. Option D is incorrect because the need for endorsements is not based on the type of policy but rather the specific coverage provided. Question 5. Which of the following would not be covered under a standard commercial property insurance policy's special causes of loss form? A. Fire damage to business property. B. Vandalism to inventory stored in a warehouse. C. Theft of business-owned equipment from a locked vehicle. D. Damage caused by an earthquake. Answer: D. Damage caused by an earthquake. Explanation: a special causes of loss form in a commercial property insurance policy provides coverage for damage caused by nearly all risks except for those specifically excluded by the policy. Common exclusions include natural disasters like earthquakes and floods, unless these risks are specifically covered by an additional endorsement. Earthquake coverage is typically available as a separate policy or endorsement, not included in a standard commercial property policy. Options A, B, and C are all covered by a special causes of loss form unless there is a specific exclusion in the policy. Question 6. What is the purpose of a fidelity bond in the context of commercial crime insurance? A. To provide coverage for employees' theft of company property only. B. To protect third parties against financial losses due to fraudulent actions by the business. C. To ensure that employees are reimbursed for losses resulting from dishonest acts by others. D. To provide coverage for theft of physical assets, such as money or securities. Answer: B. To protect third parties against financial losses due to fraudulent actions by the business. Explanation: a fidelity bond is a type of crime insurance that protects the business against losses resulting from fraudulent actions or dishonesty by employees, contractors, or other individuals in positions of trust. It specifically protects third parties, e.g., clients, customers, against the financial impact of the employee's fraudulent actions. Option is incorrect because a fidelity bond covers more than just employee theft. Option C is incorrect because a fidelity bond does not reimburse employees for losses, it protects third parties. Option D is incorrect because fidelity bonds generally cover fraudulent acts and dishonesty, not physical asset theft, which is typically covered by crime policies for the business itself. Question 7. Which of the following is not typically included under the coverage of a business owner's policy? A. Property damage to the business's physical location. B. General liability for bodily injury and property damage. C. Coverage for the loss of data due to a cyber attack. D. Coverage for the business's employees against work-related injuries. Answer: D. Coverage for the business's employees against work-related injuries. Explanation: a business owner's policy typically includes property coverage, general liability coverage, and certain endorsements, but it does not provide coverage for workers' compensation or work-related injuries. Workers' compensation insurance is a separate coverage that is required for employee injuries under most state laws, including Idaho. Option A, B, and C are included in a standard BOP, with additional coverage for specific risks like cyber liability being added through endorsements. Question 8. Which of the following best describes the rating method used for commercial automobile insurance premiums under a business auto policy? A. Premiums are determined solely by the number of vehicles covered under the policy. B. Premiums are determined based on the type of coverage selected and the specific use of each vehicle. C. Premiums are calculated using a flat rate for all businesses, regardless of the number or type of vehicles. D. Premiums are determined by the business's revenue and location only, not by the vehicle specifics. Answer: B. Premiums are determined based on the type of coverage selected and the specific use of each vehicle. Explanation: commercial auto premiums are typically calculated based on several factors, including the type of coverage selected, liability, physical damage, etc., and the use of each vehicle, e.g., G. Delivery, business use, or personal use. The premium may vary depending on how the vehicle is used and the associated risk. Option is incorrect because other factors, such as coverage type, vehicle use, and driving records, also influence the premium. Option C is incorrect because a flat rate is not used for calculating premiums. Option D is incorrect because revenue and location alone do not determine commercial auto premiums of the type and use of the vehicles are more important. Question 9. Which of the following endorsements would be appropriate for a business that operates a bar and wants to provide additional coverage for alcohol-related incidents under its commercial general liability (CGL) policy? A. Liquor liability endorsement. B. Pollution liability endorsement. C. Professional liability endorsement. D. Waiver of subrogation endorsement. Answer: A. Liquor liability endorsement. Explanation: a liquor liability endorsement is designed for businesses that serve alcohol and may be exposed to liability due to alcohol-related incidents such as injuries or damages caused by intoxicated customers. This endorsement extends coverage for such risks which are typically excluded under standard CGL policies. Option B is incorrect because pollution liability covers environmental risks, not alcohol-related incidents. Option C is incorrect because professional liability is for risks related to professional services, not alcohol-related claims. Option D is incorrect because a waiver of subrogation endorsement is used to prevent the insurer from recovering payments from a third party, which does not apply to alcohol-related incidents. Question 10. Under workers' compensation insurance policy, which of the following is typically not a benefit provided to an injured employee? A. Medical benefits for the treatment of work-related injuries. B. Lost wages or income while recovering from the injury. C. Benefits for any injuries that occur off the job. D. Death benefits for the family of an employee who dies due to a work-related injury. Answer: C. Benefits for any injuries that occur off the job. Explanation: workers' compensation insurance provides coverage for injuries that occur while an employee is performing their job duties. This includes medical benefits for treatment, lost wages while the employee is recovering, and death benefits for the employee's family if the injury results in death. Option C is incorrect because injuries that occur outside of work are not covered by workers' compensation insurance. Option A, B, and D are correct as they fall within the standard benefits of workers' compensation insurance. Question 11. What is the primary function of subrogation in commercial property insurance? A. To prevent the insured from filing a claim if the damage was caused by their negligence. B. To allow the insurance company to recover costs from a third party responsible for the loss. C. To provide additional coverage for the insured if the claim exceeds the policy limits. D. To compensate the insurer for the cost of investigating a claim. Answer: B. To allow the insurance company to recover costs from a third party responsible for the loss. Explanation: subrogation is a process in insurance that allows the insurer to recover the amount paid to the insured for a loss from a third party that is responsible for the damage. This helps to prevent the insured from receiving double compensation for the same loss. Option A is incorrect because subrogation does not involve the insured's eligibility to file a claim. It deals with recovery of costs. Option C is incorrect because subrogation does not provide additional coverage beyond the policy limits. Option D is incorrect because subrogation is not related to the cost of investigating a claim but rather to recovering the payout from the responsible third party. Question 12. Which of the following best describes who actual cash value receive coverage in commercial property insurance? A. It provides reimbursement for the full replacement cost of the property without any depreciation. B. It reimburses the insured for the property's value at the time of the loss minus depreciation. C. It offers reimbursement based on the insured's purchase price of the property regardless of the loss's timing. D. It reimburses the insured for the value of the property minus any applicable taxes. Answer: B. It reimburses the insured for the property's value at the time of the loss minus depreciation. Explanation: actual cash value (ACV) coverage compensates the insured for the depreciated value of the damaged property at the time of the loss. Unlike replacement cost coverage, which covers the full cost of replacing the damaged property, ACV accounts for depreciation. Option is incorrect because it describes replacement cost coverage, not ACV. Option C is incorrect because ACV is not based on the purchase price but the depreciated value. Option D is incorrect because ACV does not involve tax deductions in its valuation. Question 13. Which of the following situations would be covered under standard commercial general liability CGL policies products completed operations coverage? A. A customer is injured by a defect in a product the business sold. B. An employee slips and falls in the business's office. C. The business's building is damaged by a storm. D. A contractor accidentally damages a client's property while working. Answer A. A customer is injured by a defect in a product the business sold. Explanation. Products completed operations coverage under commercial general liability CGL policy covers liability for injury or damage caused by a defect in a product after it has been sold or completed. It protects businesses from claims related to products or completed services that cause harm or damage after the work is finished. Option B refers to general liability, which would typically cover an injury in the office but not under products completed operations. Option C is covered by commercial property insurance. Option D involves a contractor's liability and is not covered under products completed operations. Question 14. Which of the following describes the primary purpose of an umbrella policy in commercial insurance? A. To provide coverage for property damage caused by natural disasters. B. To extend coverage limits for specific types of insurance, such as general liability and auto. C. To cover employee health insurance costs for businesses with fewer than 50 employees. D. To provide coverage for risks not included in any other insurance policies. Answer B. To extend coverage limits for specific types of insurance, such as general liability and auto. Explanation. An umbrella policy provides additional liability coverage above and beyond the limits of underlying policies like general liability, commercial auto, and employer's liability insurance. It is used to protect a business from significant claims or lawsuits that exceed the limits of the primary coverage. Option A is incorrect because an umbrella policy covers liability, not property damage directly. Option C is unrelated to umbrella policies. It refers to health insurance policies. Option D is incorrect because umbrella policies typically do not provide coverage for risks not already covered by other policies. Question 15. Which of the following exclusions would typically be found in a standard business owner's policy? A. Theft of business-owned equipment by an employee. B. Damage caused by a fire at the business premises. C. Business interruption due to a covered event like a storm. D. Damage resulting from intentional acts by the insured. Answer D. Damage resulting from intentional acts by the insured. Explanation. A standard business owner's policy BOP generally excludes coverage for damage caused by intentional acts or criminal behavior by the insured or their employees. This is to prevent businesses from seeking coverage for losses they intentionally caused. Options A, B, and C are typically covered under a BOP as long as the loss occurs under the terms of the policy. Question 16. What is the primary purpose of the business income coverage in a business owner's policy BOP? A. To cover the cost of new equipment purchased by the business. B. To protect against income loss caused by a covered event that disrupts business operations. C. To provide coverage for employee salaries during a disaster. D. To reimburse for the cost of repairing or replacing damaged business property. Answer B. To protect against income loss caused by a covered event that disrupts business operations. Explanation. Business income coverage is designed to protect a business from the loss of income during a period when its operations are interrupted due to a covered event, such as a fire or natural disaster. This coverage helps the business cover ongoing expenses like rent and utilities while it recovers from the event. Option A refers to property coverage, not business income. Option C is incorrect because employee salaries are typically covered under separate workers' compensation or employee benefit policies. Option D refers to property coverage. Question 17. In the context of a workers' compensation insurance policy, which of the following is not typically a benefit provided to an injured worker? A. Medical treatment for a work-related injury. B. Temporary disability benefits while the worker is recovering. C. Compensation for emotional distress caused by the injury. D. Permanent disability benefits if the worker is unable to return to their job. Answer C. Compensation for emotional distress caused by the injury. Explanation. Workers' compensation typically covers medical expenses, temporary or permanent disability benefits, and death benefits for work-related injuries. However, emotional distress or pain and suffering is generally not covered under workers' compensation insurance. Option A, B, and D are all standard benefits provided by workers' compensation policies. Question 18. What does underinsurance mean in the context of business property insurance? A. The business is not carrying enough coverage to fully replace the damaged property in the event of a total loss. B. The business has purchased an excessive amount of coverage for its property. C. The business has a policy that covers the cost of repairs but not the replacement of damaged property. D. The business's policy covers only property damage but not liability claims. Answer A. The business is not carrying enough coverage to fully replace the damaged property in the event of a total loss. Explanation. Underinsurance occurs when a business does not have enough coverage to fully replace or repair damaged property in the event of a loss. If the business property is worth $500,000, but the insurance only covers $200,000, the business is underinsured. Option B describes overinsurance, not underinsurance. Option C refers to partial coverage, not underinsurance. Option D focuses on liability coverage, which is not related to the concept of underinsurance for property. Question 19. Which of the following is not a common exclusion in a commercial auto insurance policy? A. Personal injury or property damage caused by a company vehicle. B. Damages resulting from an intentional act by the driver. C. Damage to the vehicle caused by a natural disaster like a flood. D. Vehicle damage while being used for personal purposes. Answer C. Damage to the vehicle caused by a natural disaster like a flood. Explanation. Most commercial auto insurance policies include coverage for physical damage to the insured vehicle, including damage caused by natural disasters like floods. Exclusions often include damage caused by intentional acts. Option B. Personal use of the vehicle. Option D. Or personal injury or property damage caused by the vehicle when not being used for business purposes. Option A. Option C would generally be covered unless the policy specifically excludes such risks. Question 20. Which of the following is the primary purpose of the excess insurance coverage? A. To cover medical costs that exceed the insured's primary healthcare policy. B. To provide additional coverage for a specific risk not included in the primary policy. C. To increase the limits of liability coverage provided by an underlying policy. D. To cover expenses related to the insured's business property. Answer C. To increase the limits of liability coverage provided by an underlying policy. Explanation. Excess insurance coverage provides additional liability coverage above and beyond the limits of an underlying policy, such as general liability or auto insurance. It is designed to offer broader protection when claims exceed the limits of the primary policy. Option is incorrect because excess insurance generally applies to liability, not medical costs. Option B refers to specialized coverage, not excess insurance. Option D is incorrect because excess insurance focuses on liability, not property. Question 21. Which of the following is typically covered under a commercial property insurance policy? A. Loss of income due to a product recall. B. Employee injury sustained while performing work-related tasks. C. Damage to business property caused by a covered peril like fire. D. Legal costs associated with defending a discrimination lawsuit. Answer C. Damage to business property caused by a covered peril like fire. Explanation. Commercial property insurance primarily covers physical damage to businesses' property due to perils such as fire, theft, or vandalism. Option A relates to business income coverage, not property coverage. Option B is typically covered by workers' compensation insurance. Option D involves liability coverage, not commercial property insurance. Question 22. Which of the following is a typical feature of a business interruption insurance policy? A. Coverage for the repair or replacement of damaged business property. B. Compensation for lost income during periods when business operations are disrupted by a covered event. C. Coverage for third-party liability claims resulting from the business's operations. D. Coverage for the medical expenses of employees injured on the job. Answer B. Compensation for lost income during periods when business operations are disrupted by a covered event. Explanation. Business interruption insurance compensates businesses for lost income if their operations are interrupted by a covered event, such as a fire or storm. This allows the business to maintain cash flow while it recovers. Options A, C, and D refer to different types of coverage, property liability and workers' compensation, respectively. Question 23. In a standard commercial general liability (CGL) policy, which of the following would be covered under personal and advertising injury coverage? A. Property damage caused by an employee of the insured business. B. Injury caused by an accident at the business's premises. C. A lawsuit alleging defamation or invasion of privacy by the insured. D. Workers' compensation claims for an employee injured on the job. Answer: C. A lawsuit alleging defamation or invasion of privacy by the insured. Explanation: personal and advertising injury coverage under a CGL policy covers a variety of offenses, including defamation, invasion of privacy, and advertising injury, such as copyright infringement. Option A refers to bodily injury or property damage, which would be covered under general liability. Option B would be covered under bodily injury liability, not personal injury. Option D is covered by workers' compensation, not a CGL policy. Question 24. Which of the following is typically excluded from coverage under a standard business property insurance policy? A. Damage to the business's building caused by a tornado. B. Theft of property from a locked storage area. C. Damage to a building's roof caused by a wear and tear issue. D. Vandalism that occurs after business hours. Answer: C. Damage to a building's roof caused by a wear and tear issue. Explanation: standard business property insurance policies typically exclude damage caused by wear and tear or gradual deterioration. However, they would cover damage caused by perils like tornadoes, theft, and vandalism if the event happens during covered hours. Option C is the correct answer because it involves maintenance-related issues. Question 25. Which of the following types of insurance is specifically designed to cover the costs of defending and settling employment-related lawsuits? A. Workers' compensation insurance. B. Employment practices liability insurance simply. C. General liability insurance. D. Directors and officers DO insurance. Answer: B. Employment practices liability insurance simply. Explanation: employment practices liability insurance simply provides coverage for legal costs associated with defending and settling employment-related lawsuits, including discrimination, wrongful termination, and harassment. Workers' compensation, option A, covers workplace injuries. General liability, option C, covers third-party liability and DO insurance. Option D covers the legal costs of defending directors and officers in business-related lawsuits. Question 26. What is the primary difference between replacement cost and actual cash value received in property insurance? A. Replacement cost is the current value of the property minus depreciation, while ACV covers only the amount it cost to buy the property. B. Replacement cost covers the cost of replacing damaged property with new items, while ACV deducts depreciation from the replacement cost. C. Replacement cost includes additional coverage for potential liability claims, while ACV is for property damage only. D. There is no difference between the two terms, and they are interchangeable. Answer: B. Replacement cost covers the cost of replacing damaged property with new items, while ACV deducts depreciation from the replacement cost. Explanation: replacement cost coverage reimburses the insured for the cost to replace damaged property with new items of like kind and quality, while actual cash value ACV factors in depreciation. ACV is generally lower than replacement cost since it accounts for depreciation. Option is incorrect because replacement cost does not subtract depreciation. Option C is incorrect because both cover property, not liability. Option D is incorrect because the two terms are distinct. Question 27. In the context of an insurance policy, what does the deductible refer to? A. The maximum amount an insurer will pay for a claim. B. The amount the insured pays out of pocket before insurance coverage kicks in. C. The total amount of premiums paid over the life of the policy. D. The percentage of the claim covered by the insurer. Answer: B. The amount the insured pays out of pocket before insurance coverage kicks in. Explanation: a deductible is the amount the insured must pay out of pocket before their insurance coverage begins to pay for a covered loss. It helps lower premiums by shifting some of the risk to the insured. Option A refers to the policy limit, not the deductible. Option C is incorrect because the deductible is a fixed amount, not related to premiums. Option D is a description of coverage, not the deductible. Question 28. Which of the following is typically excluded from coverage under standard commercial general liability CGL policy? A. Bodily injury caused by the business's products. B. Damage to the business's own property. C. Personal injury resulting from an employee's defamation. D. Advertising injury caused by the business's marketing. Answer: B. Damage to the business's own property. Explanation: a standard commercial general liability CGL policy generally excludes coverage for damage to the business's own property, as this would be covered under commercial property insurance. Options A, C, and D are typically covered under a CGL policy as they relate to third-party claims for injury or damage caused by the business. Question 29. Which of the following types of insurance provides coverage for legal costs associated with a business's negligence that results in bodily injury or property damage to third parties? A. Professional liability insurance. B. General liability insurance. C. Commercial property insurance. D. Cyber liability insurance. Answer: B. General liability insurance. Explanation: General liability insurance covers a business for legal costs and damages arising from third-party claims for bodily injury or property damage caused by the business's operations, products, or services. Professional liability insurance, option A, covers professionals for errors or omissions in their services. Commercial property insurance, option C, covers physical damage to the business's property. Cyber liability insurance, option D, covers data breaches and cyber attacks. Question 30. What is the primary function of directors and officers? DO liability insurance. A. To cover the cost of defending the business in general liability lawsuits. B. To provide coverage for legal expenses related to employment disputes. C. To protect the business's leadership from personal liability related to business decisions. D. To cover property damage caused by directors or officers. Answer: C. To protect the business's leadership from personal liability related to business decisions. Explanation: Directors and officers DO liability insurance protects the personal assets of company directors and officers from claims arising from their decisions or actions in managing the business. This includes claims for breach of fiduciary duty, mismanagement, or regulatory violations. Option A refers to general liability, not DO insurance. Option B is covered by employment practices liability insurance, and option D refers to property damage, which is not covered by DO insurance.